Hey there, Michelle. Good morning. It is Jay Obertans here at Rorick Mazda. Thank you again for checking out this particular vehicle, which is one of the preferred level CX-90s in the rhodium white with the grayish interior. First, I have to plead with you to please not laugh because I'm never going to win any awards for filming or acting, but I thought by making you a video of the vehicle would be helpful to your search. So that way you can verify that we do have this particular one, but more importantly, I can go over some of the features as there's so much on this vehicle, it might quite surprise you. Now, the CX-90 is going to be our flagship SUV in the lineup, and it was actually developed not so much to compete with things like a Toyota Highlander or a Honda Pilot, but more so a Mercedes GLE and a BMW X5, as its powertrain is certainly pretty different. But what's interesting is it not only makes more power, is smoother, sounds incredibly nice for an inline six turbo, it actually gets the same gas mileage as the competition that have four-cylinder engines. Now up front, I do point out the headlights you might see have like a bluish cast to it. It is because they're full LED lights. Best way I can kind of describe that is you'll get an occasional person flash the lights at you just thinking you're that asshole with the high beams on all the time, but they are incredibly bright at night, and you'll actually see that little design element kind of trickle right into the grille here. Now, speaking of grille, one thing I always point out is you're going to notice that this emblem is fake. And the reason why that is fake is because that is a cover for all of your sonar and radar communicating with the camera up on top of your windshield. So all of your safety features are present at this particular level. That's going to be everything from lane keeping assist, which will help guide you back in the lane if you're drifting. All of your collision avoidance system, which will automatically alert you and apply the brakes to stop a collision from happening, with whether it be an obstacle, a pedestrian, a cyclist. The headlights themselves can use high and low beams at night. You have a full adaptive cruise control with stop and go. Simply means that the vehicle can actually take over driving itself and stop and go traffic. Crazy, but pretty cool. My favorite is actually the blind spot monitoring system, which are going to be indicators in each side mirror that will essentially light up and let you know that someone's in your blind spot. Unique to that is if you happen to be part of the 2% of Pittsburgh that knows how to use their turn signal, then it will actually beep back at you, letting you know it's not safe to make a lane change. Now, also things beeping when it's not safe, you have a rear cross alert, so if you're backing up and the surroundings aren't safe, it will yell at you. Obviously, you'll have the camera. This particular one comes equipped direct from the factory with the hitch, which is pretty nice, especially if you're going to do any light towing or even more utilitarian like slapping on a bike rack. You'll see everything in the rear here is all LED, AWD badge because it is an all-wheel drive platform. And then just kind of going down the side, you'll see that this white is very interesting. So this is their new white, which is called rhodium, and it's actually supposed to look like hard candy. So it might be kind of hard to pick it up in the video, but it has sort of like the shine, almost like when you kind of look at like one of those round peppermints that you get at Christmas. It's pretty interesting color, and then you do have 19-inch wheels that are going to be standard at this particular level. Now, interior-wise, this is honestly my preference because I like the fact, well, let me walk around to the other side. That was a big old letdown. So speaking of interior, I like the fact that this particular one is a two-toned. So you'll kind of see it's a very, very nice contrast, especially because you have this bright wood that kind of just flanks up at the top and then some stitching to match while everything else is black. So it's a lot of like high and low contrast. Same thing with the seats. You'll notice that the center console has some stitched leather, that same sort of color of the wood. You'll have the wood panel up the center console with your gear shifter. Things like dual climate system, heated seats, obviously. You'll even have a genuine leather material across the dash. Same thing with that wood. And then also kind of picking up the black, they do a little black piping accent in the middle of the seat. Standard size sunroof, as you'll see there. Now, just hopping in here, your middle gauge cluster is more digital. Some people kind of prefer that look for a digital readout, while others prefer the more traditional look with the needle and gauge. Screen up here is going to be touch only if you're an Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Otherwise, everything is going to be down here using this dial. Takes about a day or two to get used to. Once people are used to it, you'll totally understand why Mazda is following the Germans in terms of like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi with this sort of dial-like system. Obviously, your cup holders are going to be hidden under this little storage cubby here. And if I shift into reverse, you are going to see that you're going to have your standard backup camera up there as well. And let me just hit the trunk button. As you'll notice, it is a power lift gate here. All of these vehicles are going to be third row. You're going to see in this particular example, the third row's up, but getting it down, you'll notice I'm holding the phone and just doing it one-handed here. So plenty of cargo space that you'll see here. I'm just gonna close this and go to the rear seat. And you'll see that you are going to have your traditional bench seating, same piping kind of down the center. You'll not only have rear charging, but the own third zone for rear climate system as well. Now, getting access to the third row is pretty easy. You can either flip this switch, or if you're just hands are too full or whatnot, you can actually just hit this button and you'll see it automatically folds down, and then you just give it a little push forward to get back there. Even little vent shades that come up here. I actually call them the peasant blockers, but I guess sunshades if you would. So there's a lot more features that I could sit here and really go over, even fine attention to details like this inline 6 for their engine that they stamp into the sides. But I don't want to make you like a 15-minute video, because listening to my own voice for 5 minutes is painful enough, yet alone somebody else doing it. But I really hope that this information helps, and I'm going to upload this video and send it over to you via text, and I appreciate the opportunity to assist, Michelle. Thank you again.